Thanks very much. I want to start, though, by thanking each and every one of you. I want to thank you for making history. And the truth is, you probably don't know you made history, because most people who aren't in love with themselves, most people who don't think they're great shapes, don't know that together they're making history. But the truth is, all of you made history only a week last Wednesday. I want to take you back to the 15th of February 2003. As a young lad, even younger than I am today, I caught the bus down from Leeds to London to march alongside 2 million other people against the invasion. Myself and 2 million people didn't believe what would unfold. And on that day, I saw Jeremy Corbyn, who I'd never met before, give a speech warning what would happen in Iraq, warning what would happen across the region if Tony Blair went through with his pledge to George Bush to back the invasion of Iraq. And on that day, on the 15th of February 2003, I never believed or dreamed I would be a Labour MP representing the area I'm from. On that day, the 15th of February 2003, I never believed that years later Jeremy Corbyn would be elected as the socialist leader of the Labour Party. And on that day, the 15th of February 2003, I never thought that I'd be sat on the front bench on the day that Jeremy Corbyn, as leader of the Labour Party, apologised on behalf of the previous leadership. Apologise to the people of Britain and apologise to the families of British servicemen and servicewomen. Make no mistake, the people involved in this anti-democratic enterprise didn't want Jeremy Corbyn to be leader at all. They didn't want him to be leader now, and fundamentally, they didn't want him to be leader on that Wednesday, a week last Wednesday. The truth is, without what you did last summer, without what you did keeping strong when they were trying to get Jeremy to resign, there wouldn't have been a Labour Party leader stood there apologising for a previous Labour leadership. And the good news is, history's not over. The good news is, there's more history to be made by Jeremy and by all of you. So I'm proud to be with you today. And I want to say something else as well. The reason I'm proud to be with you today is I know that you're all fundamentally decent people, fundamentally decent sisters and brothers. And the last time I was in this hall, and this is a bit of an admission, I need to get out in London more often perhaps, the last time I was in this hall was 11 years ago for an event marking the 20th anniversary of the miners' strike. And when I think back to the stories I heard about the 1984-85 miners' strike, when I think back to the people that I know who were involved in that dispute, one thing sticks with me very clearly. All the good comrades involved in the miners' strike were demonised, portrayed as thugs, portrayed as bullies. The truth was, they, like you, were and are fundamentally decent people. Against them by portraying them as thugs, by portraying them as brick throwers, by portraying them as misogynists, by portraying them as bullies. It's one of the oldest tricks in the book to demonise those who stand for real change. Well, I won't stand for it, and neither should you. I'm proud to be with you. about my role in the shadow cabinet is perhaps people criticise Jeremy, don't they, unfairly for being obsessed with London. I think it's the most northern, working-class shadow Labour cabinet I've seen in a long time, so I think that's a good thing. I think that's worthy of a round of applause. But he asked me, or he mentioned about my role as Shadow Justice Secretary. If you read the Labour manifesto at the last general election, I think it said something along the lines of, we will do away with the Conservative government's unfair tribunal system. Now, maybe it's because I was trained as a trade union lawyer, but when I read that sentence I wasn't really sure what it meant. Did it mean we were going to abolish employment tribunal fees, or did it mean we were only going to reduce them? Well, I can say, no ifs, no buts. A Labour government with Jeremy Corbyn as Prime Minister won't reform the employment tribunal fee system. A Labour government with Jeremy Corbyn as Prime Minister will abolish the employment tribunal. About this campaign very briefly, because I don't want to get into trouble with Comrade Wilgress to the right of me. I don't want to get into trouble with him at all. But I might do. When this started, when the resignations started to come forward, I wrote an article. Sadly, I think on that occasion at least, I was proven correct. I was saying to people, don't you understand? They don't want a leadership election. They want a changing leader without a leadership election. And don't you understand that actually they're not bothered if they offend Labour Party members. Some of them want to offend Labour Party members. And the reason is quite clear. They want every single Labour Party member who supported or supports Jeremy Corbyn to leave the Labour Party. And that's why they wanted to get rid of him in the most undemocratic and offensive way possible. They wanted to read the angry letters of resignation. They wanted to read the angry email saying, we'll show you, we'll leave the Labour Party. But I'll tell you this, whether we win this leadership election, as I have a feeling and a hope that we will with all our efforts, whether or not we win this leadership election, every single one of you must stay in the Labour Party, because I'll tell you this, there's unfinished business in our Labour Party. Trying to do now is hold the Labour Party membership to ransom. That's why they're saying if Jeremy's elected, they won't serve. That's why a leadership contender who 3 days ago said he would serve on the front bench if Jeremy's re-elected, that's why he's saying now he won't serve on the front bench if Jeremy's re-elected. They, or some of them, are attempting to hold the Labour Party membership to ransom. That's why they're saying, if Jeremy wins, the Labour Party will split, but if you vote for the other candidate, the Labour Party won't split. These are threats. These are threats designed to demoralise the Labour MPs that support Jeremy, and these are the threats designed to drive Labour Party members into the desperation of turning their back on what they want to support, which is anti-austerity leadership under Jeremy. But call me old-fashioned. I don't believe that socialists should give in to threats. I don't believe we should give in to parliamentary bullies. I think, as Chris said, that between all of us, we have the potential to not only change the Labour Party for the better, but to change society for the better. In case any journalists are still here, they've probably left because they knew I was speaking, but in case any journalists are still here, by a better society, I mean this: a fundamental and irreversible shift in wealth and power in favour of ordinary people. That's what we got involved in politics for. But this has been a steep learning curve for so many. So many people have stepped up to the plate. So many people have found strength in this struggle that it's inspiring, so much so it feels like it's not true. But it is true, comrades. It is true. So we're all together. We're not going to give in. We're not going to give in to these threats. But it's not just been a steep learning curve for newly elected MPs like myself. It's also been a steep learning curve for some people who've been MPs for years and indeed decades. They totally misunderstood Jeremy Corbyn and his ideas. They totally misunderstood our ideology. They totally misunderstood, or as George Bush said, misunderestimated our resolve. They actually believed that Jeremy Corbyn was a conventional Westminster politician. They actually believed that if you went through the rigmarole of getting 15 people to resign from the shadow cabinet, they'd go, I know the rules of this game, fair play, I'm going to give in, the game's up. Didn't they understand, after watching his parliamentary career and his activism for 30 years, that that's not what he's like? Didn't they understand? In supporting gay rights when you get demonised for it. If you do the right thing by supporting peace talks in Northern Ireland when you get called a terrorist for it. If you do the right thing in supporting the miners when even Neil Kinnock wouldn't do it. You're not going to give in to 15 shadow cabinet members. So I'll finish on this. Martin Luther King, who unlike me wasn't from Leeds, said, at the end of the day, what you remember is not the words of your enemies, but the silences of your friends. Yes. Friends, sisters, brothers, I know I'm amongst friends tonight. And friends, sisters, brothers, I know you have not been and will not be silent. I know that you know it's time to speak up. I know that you know it's time to speak up for democracy. I know that you know it's time to speak up for socialism, for Jeremy Corbyn and his ideas, and for decency. I'll leave you on this. I started by saying that you collectively made history. I believe that you together will make history again. I salute you for what you've done, and I salute you for what you're about to do. Onwards to victory!